dismissed every accomplishment I've made. You've talked about my father. Well, you call me an entitled millennial, I call you a carny succubus, because the dirty secret about you, the dirty secret is you need this generation more than it needs you.
What up, y'all? It's KNB on the ROAD for the New World Podcast, brother. And I gotta say, I want to walk around in life like Opa Femi. He got that swag of his, just you know. Well, let's talk New Year's Evil 2025 in LA. Vic Booker and Corey Graves now on commentary. Me and my wife were having a discussion. We were talking about Monday Night Raw, Cole and Pat. Then Joe and Wade will be on SmackDown, you know. And it was like, but where does Corey Graves go? And she was like, well, what about NXT? And at first I was like, no, they can't. I love Vic and Booker, you know. I don't want them to split them up. So they have gone the route of a three-person team for the NXT commentary, which is not bad. It's not a bad idea, you know. But I'm just glad that Corey found a place with all this moving around, because I do enjoy Corey Graves' commentary. I really do. You know, I think he's funny. I think he's a smartass when he needs to be a smartass, and I think he really called the show. And we got The Rock here. He pulls up, you know, holding that People's Championship. And I will say the most, not annoying thing, but they gave him a lot of time at the end that I felt like could have been sprinkled. That time could have been sprinkled. He could have been on for 5 minutes. I think they gave a total of like 12 minutes if I counted that right, or I could be wrong. So, well, we started off with the NXT Women's Championship, Roxanne Perez versus Julia. Woo! You know, and we start the show off with 3 women's matches to start off New Year's Evil. I'm like, hell yeah! The women's division is insane. And this match just proves it. And the fact that we have a new NXT Women's Champion is saying a lot, because we reset stories here going forward, because we have Tiffany Stratton now, we have Rhea Ripley, and now we have Julia. These 3 women holding the championships in each division is awesome. I'm very happy. I'm very excited for the future of where we're going to go with this. I think Julia deserves to get this championship. I can't wait till Stephanie starts going after that championship, but Stephanie has a different path when it comes to the next match. A lot of backstage stuff with Ava too going on tonight. A lot of backstage stuff. But of course, Cora Jade tried to help Roxanne Perez. Did not happen, but these two put on a banger of a match, and I gotta say, I really want to watch it again, because I did enjoy this match. And then of course, Eddie, who's part of the triple threat later on in the show for the NXT Championship, he was attacked, and Ava just like, oh, we saw this again, you know, just like, oh, you know, get up, you faker. I don't know why I found that so amusing, but Ava really telling Eddie Thorpe the way it is. But there we go to Javon Evans. I guess Ethan Page broke his jaw, so he's gonna go through the wire like he's Kanye West. You know, he's spitting facts. He has like a little poor Javon Evans. Ethan Page on a rampage, if you will. He broke his jaw. He broke some fingers. You know. He's not messing around. He says, I'm going to go around and make a name for myself, because that's who I am. All ego, Ethan Page. Then we go right into our next match, a number 1 contendership for who's going to face the North American champion, which is Fallon Henley. Kalani versus Cora versus Stephanie versus Lola. Another banger of a match, man. And it's going to be really interesting once Scott D'Amore, who is rumored to be taking over NXT after Triple H, because Triple H is going to go help Hunter do Raw and SmackDown, so that's going to be interesting. Maybe this is why all the new changes is happening, so Scott D'Amore can come in and start adjusting where he wants to go with the show and stuff like that. But I'm hoping NXT does not lose its fire, because they are on fire right now. They're outdoing Dynamite on Wednesdays, AEW Staple Show. They're out doing, you know, just crowd sizes and stuff like that. Like, they're really on fire right now, and that's just WWE entirely. So, but Stephanie got the win. I feel like we have a new North American champion coming. But we're going to have somebody step in Stephanie's way later on in the show. Then we have Ava backstage with Fatal Influence and Oba. And Oba's like, well, take Eddie out of the triple threat. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's going to still be a triple threat match. And Oba's like, you know what? No matter what, triple threat, one-on-one, the same outcome. Oba Femi says, I'm going to get that championship. You best watch it. You best believe it. You best understand it. Then we have Fatal Influence versus Shotzi and Tatum and Gigi. This was a fun match as well. Shotzi, Tatum, and Gigi get the win. But the biggest thing that came out of this is Shotzi got the pin on Fallon Henley. And that's going to play on later on in the show. And Ava's backstage, and we get Ethan Page, and, you know, he's just a cocky bitch, you know. And he's, like, talking, and then, like, she's just like, oh, perfect timing. And guess who is standing face-to-face with Ethan Page? The Rock. Did not see that coming. Did not put that on my bucket list. But The Rock, I was like, ooh. And he's just like, I heard you broke someone's jaw. He goes, yeah, that's correct. And I heard you broke someone's wrist. He goes, I broke fingers, but I'll take wrist, you know. You cocky son of a bitch. He's just like, yeah, sure, I did that, you know. And he tells him, like, all right, well, you know, just so you understand, I've heard a lot about you. Not good things, but I've heard a lot about you. So I want you to understand that, well, I am the final boss. But she's the final boss of NXT, pointing to his daughter, of course, Ava, and whatnot, you know. And she's been all over. She was at the Golden Globes, you know, and she was with him at Raw and stuff like that. So, yeah, we get Ethan Page, and then he goes, hopefully we'll see you on the main roster someday. Ethan Page is like, you know what? That's going to happen. Trust me. Because it's all Eagle Ethan Page. Like, he went from being an AEW jobber to being a star over here on the other, where the grass was a lot greener. So I'm very excited for Ethan Page. I'm very excited to see where we go for Ethan. Then we get the NXT Heritage Cup. It was okay. I'm not a big fan of the Heritage Cup matches themselves. I'm just not. I just don't care for the concept of them. But Lexis King is our new Heritage Cup winner, which I was like, damn, finally we're doing something with Lexis King. You know, he's been having all these losses and stuff like that. Sure, let's give him the Heritage Cup, you know, as of being like, hey, here's your reward, man, for sticking through the grind and everything like that. But there you go. Then we go to Ava again backstage. She's with Stephanie and Fallon. You know, Stephanie's like, well, I want to get my North American Championship match as soon as possible. And then Shotzi comes in, and Shotzi says, hey, I'm the one that pinned Fallon Henley. Now we have a coinky-dink of like, okay, well, Stephanie did win the #1 contendership, but Shotzi did pin her. So Fallon's like, you know what? You two figure it out. And so this sets up a match with Shotzi and Stephanie, which is funny because I'm just like, that's the whole point of a #1 contendership match. You know what I mean? But Shotzi and Stephanie are going to figure out who is going to face Fallon Henley. And they could just end up being a triple threat. There's been a lot of triple threats in WWE as of late. So that's what's going on there. Then we go into our NXT Championship match. Is it a triple threat? Is it not? Eddie ends up showing up. And he brings a chair with him. Doesn't help him. He takes a shot at Trick, and this is what seals Trick's fate. But we have a new champion, Oba Femi, and I was very excited about this. This was a great match. And then Julia comes out, and they do this great visual of Oba and Julia, and says, and new, you know, NXT Women's Champion, NXT Champion. We have two new faces of NXT holding the top championships. And I was like, man, that is such a glorious shot of just them two holding those championships. And we end it with The Rock. Rock comes out. He's funny. As much as I do like The Rock and I love The Rock, I loved the final boss. I thought the final boss was a genius, like, pivot into something that it all just was all so natural in a situation that happened when it was like The Rock's like, I'm coming to face Roman Reigns, and then the crowd's like, oh hell no, we want Cody. Like naturally, the final boss became something, and he's been on this super like nice, I'm the ambassador now of WWE, especially with Netflix. I think he's gonna probably show up at SmackDown. And the refs, we got those ref shirts that we saw on Raw. I think that's going to go across the board for all of WWE. I'm all for that. But The Rock doing his shtick, talking about how great NXT is and WWE and the future and everything like that. And he did his little goosebumps thing. And then I noticed when he does that, the cameraman has to show the goosebumps. We have to see The Rock's goosebumps, because if we don't see The Rock's goosebumps, it doesn't matter. But The Rock says, every time. So it was The Rock, and he ends the show. And like I said, he took a lot of time and to being The Rock and stuff like that. But I feel like the bigger part of the show is we got new champions. We got new stories being written. Stephanie now is on the prowl for the North American Championship, which I feel like she'll win. She'll get through Shotzi. I don't see Shotzi ever getting that championship because we brought Stephanie up. I would say my match of the night is Roxanne and Julia for the NXT Women's Championship. Welcome Corey Graves to the commentary team for NXT, and that is New Year's Evil 2025. I give this show a solid 5 out of 5. I gave Netflix Raw 4 out of 5. I gave this one 5 out of 5 because I enjoyed the show a lot. And it dealt with a lot of the wrestling and stuff like that. And the stories that I wanted to see unfold. And a direction we are going. And such a great stage. Triple H was in the crowd and everything like that. So a lot of good vibes. WWE is on fire. And now I got to go watch AEW Dynamite tonight. It's funny. It's like, I get these really great shows, and then I have to like brace myself, feeling, all right, is Dynamite gonna be lit, or is Dynamite gonna be okay, or is Dynamite gonna be like head scratch my butt too? I guess. I'm still a fan. But that is New Year's Evil 2025. Graves, Vic, and Booker on commentary. That's it. That's all. Tell me what you thought of the show. Drop those comments below. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. Share your grandma. Share your grandpa. Share with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB, the sexy ninja. And remember that the New World Podcast is for life, brother.
Ethan Page.
Correct. Final boss.
That is correct. It's good to meet you.